Our next presenting company is South Bend 7 Private Real Estate Fund. South Bend 7 will be introduced by Ms. Lynn Bulldog. Ms. Bulldog.
South Bend 7 is a real estate investment fund with a proven track record. Here to tell you about the fund is their CEO, Leo Hefner.
Hi, thank you very much, Lynn. Thanks for the introduction. My name is Leo Hefner. I'm with Bluefin Management Group. We're here representing South Bend 7, a debt-free private real estate investment fund. We have a new Reg D 506C offering. We're here raising $10 million. So this is also my first time presenting, so don't heckle me, all right? Thanks. So this is actually my first time in New York. I was actually born in Hawaii. My parents were on surf safari when I showed up, and my first house was actually a tree house. Kind of crazy, but yeah. I've been in San Diego the last 20 years, raising a family and working in the real estate industry. So a few years ago, I was in a private lending conference in San Jose, and I meet this guy, Jeff. He's my COO, by the way. And we hit it off, we clicked, we did good. So a few days and several pitchers of margaritas later, we decided to work together, and it's been great ever since. So shortly thereafter, I was flying to Chicago to go see a friend of mine, and I don't know about you guys, but for some reason I always get stuck in the middle seat on an airplane. So once again, just like normal, I'm in the middle seat between these two guys who know each other. And so I start making small talk, and the guy next to me, he's a loss mitigation manager for a small regional bank. And the other guy on the other side of me, he's the facilities manager for the same bank. So forecloses, takes care of the houses, opportunity. That's what I got out of that. So we get on the airplane, we land. I've got all the names and phone numbers and addresses of all these places in Indiana to go take a look at. So I drive over, take a look at them, meet the management team, meet the tenants, look at the houses inside and out. I call these guys up and set up an appointment, and he said, we got $1.2 million wrapped up in these houses, but we'll let you have them for $475,000. So Jeff and I were told by an old real estate guy in Bellflower out by LA that when you're making an offer on a house, if it doesn't make you sick, then you're offering too high. So I tell these guys, well, not really willing to pay you $475,000 for that, but how about $100 grand? They're like, yeah, we didn't get that. What'd you say? I'm like, we'll give you $100,000. They did exactly that. They laughed a lot. So we went to lunch, and we actually settled on $155,000 for the portfolio, producing about $60,000 a year in gross revenues, and went back to California and met with Lynn to figure out how we could do this legally. But we started with a 504, and we completed that fund, and so now that's the origin story of South Bend 7. 7 houses in South Bend, Indiana. So we thought that the portfolio was going to be, that was a really good thing. This house, I found it on Craigslist. The guy wanted $30,000 for it. Called the guy, he shows up, unlocks the door, kicks the door open a little bit, and the walls move from the amount of cockroaches in it. It was disgusting. The guy's got a really thick accent, so it was kind of hard to understand when we were talking. I'm like, you gonna show me around? He's like, I'm not going in there. So I go wandering around this house, trash piled up like 6 feet all over the place. I get to the basement. You can't even get in the basement. It's like people have been standing up on the top and just throwing trash down into the bottom. It was gross. So I come back out. I'm like, wow, man, $30,000? I think you need to pay me $1,000 just to take it from you. He is, again, thick accent. Can't really understand him, right? I'll take 2. Okay, whatever. You got anything else you want to sell? And he had another house. And he wanted $40,000 for this one. Tenant had been in there for 10 years. She's Section 8. Government's paying $600 a month in rent. Nothing really to do to us. Great shape, nice little place. So I got that uncomfortable feeling and threw out $20,000 for both of them. He didn't like that. So we stood around the front yard haggling for a little bit, like an hour, maybe a little longer. Settled on $22,500 actually for both houses. So we put about $2,000 into the first, or bought the first one for $2,000, put about $15,000 into it, and now it's a beautiful little place rented to a disabled veteran on, he's Veterans Housing Assistance is paying his rent for about $700 a month. The other place, lady's still living there, she's happy, send her a Christmas card every year. So we got $110,000 in equity and over $15,000 a year in gross revenue. So this is something that we've been able to do over and over again due to the relationships we've been able to develop for people to be able to bring these types of deals to us. So over the last 2 years, we've bought over 30 houses and have passed on hundreds more at these kind of deep discounts. So early on, Jeff and I decided the best way to do this was, let's do it in a way that reduces volatility, reduce correlation to the stock market, reduce the way that interest rates could have any kind of effect on us, and be able to have some sort of cash flow no matter what the economic climate was. Well, we did this. So we carry no leverage, no loans, no liabilities. We buy everything cash, zero debt. You know, we focus on a $48 billion industry of renters who have some sort of housing assistance from HUD, Housing and Urban Development. You know, it's Social Security, it's Veterans Housing Assistance, it's Section 8. So we buy and provide, bless you, we buy and provide quality housing for our vulnerable populations of people in areas that are of stable job growth, unremarkable appreciation, places around within 5 miles or so of a 4-year university with more than 5,000 students. So we have a very targeted market there. So like I said, these groups of people that we focus on to be our renters, they're the basis of a community that when times get tough, they're just not going anywhere. You know, they're the people they're just the foundation of a community. And we make sure that we buy these houses in a way that in an economic downturn, they're not really going to be affecting us or our investors much. So at this point, our average cost per house is a little less than $18,000. Our average value is just over $70,000. Our average rent is just over $650 per month. Over the last 2 years, we've raised all the money into this 504 that we could, which is the $1 million. We've taken the time to develop our systems and procedures. And not only do we thrive and grow, but we've been able to pay our investors over 7.25% annualized returns. So what we're looking for here today is strategic partnerships to help us raise this $10 million. We believe that we're a value-added proposition to any partners and their investors, and we've been able to provide a stable, consistent cash flow secured by our non-leveraged, asset-based private equity fund. Please sign up for our one-on-ones if you're interested. I'd love to tell you guys more about it. Thank you.